Good evening, guys. The 30-day countdown is on to get your deposit together. Otherwise, as a first-time buyer, you're missing out on a huge cash saving between a mil to a mil 1.5. Stay tuned. Oh, I'm taller.
Good evening. Guys, we're in the process of setting up our new studio at the moment, so please bear with us without the green screen tonight. But interesting topic.
Yes. First-time buyers, you've got about 30 days left now. We're on the countdown until the property tax scheme that you could be eligible for becomes non-existent once again.
And it's something that I think we're talking a lot about when it first came out a little while ago, but it's something we wanted to bring back to light tonight, just because, and I think a lot of people aren't aware of this, is it's actually going to be ending on the 30th of June. So for those of you that aren't aware, there's a thing that first-home buyers can opt in at the moment for property purchases up to 1.5 million, where you can either A, pay your stamp duty up front, or B, you can opt to pay property tax, which is for owner-occupiers, I think it's about $400 a year, and then 0.3% of the land value of the property per year afterwards. And we've run through it in previous sessions how much it's going to cost you, but it works out much, much, much cheaper, A, with not having to pay that cash up front, and then B, obviously, long-term as well, less money out of your pocket for stamp duty.
Well, that's right. Even for investors, first-time buyers, investors, there was
Both, yeah.
a considerable saving on the upfront cost and a break-even point at about 10 to 13 years, depending on the breakdown, which for most people insured, it would cover them, pretty much for their lifetime of the ownership of the property, as we tend to find people are moving sort of every 7 years or so. So it was an interesting, proposition from the government, but with Labor's new election and coming in hot, that's going to be basically taken away. And there is still some stamp duty changes which are going to take place, but for the buyers that were looking between $1 million to 1.5, this was the saving that really allowed them to save nearly up to sort of 50, 60 grand in their deposit, and contribute that towards a property.
And it was golden as well, because previously all the first home buyer grants were only really up to about 800,000. Which is unfortunately for Northern Beaches, where we live, doesn't get you a whole lot.
No, it's true.
It gets you sort of 1-bedroom units, some entry-level 2-bedroom units as well. But the fact that it offered it out to the 1.5 as well just opened up so much more of a broader scope for people that were wanting to buy properties on the beaches as well, that weren't in those lower price points, that just allowed them to get their leg up on the market. And like Billy said, to save yourself $60,000 up front, that's a lot of money that you can put into your deposit, that you just don't have to be forking out to pay stamp duty, which is money you don't get back. It's a tax that you pay. So having to pay it per year, and the time value of that money as well, the fact that you get to spread it over so many years, it's a big, big saving. But guys, for those of you that are tuning in, it's going to go in 30 days, well, less than 30 days now.
Pretty much, we're on the count.
It's going to be gone. And I think a lot of people were looking at it before. It sort of fell by the wayside a little bit now. But if you're a first home buyer out and looking, definitely make sure, speak to your accountant, speak to your solicitor about it, because it's something you, I think, want to take advantage of.
Well, that's right. As Michael said, it's certainly more price bracket dependent, but for the people looking in that range, pushing up to 1.5, there's a big saving there. And most importantly, our job tonight is just to make sure you're aware of it and aware of the changes, because there's nothing worse than not knowing about what's on the table, and worst of all, just missing out.
Well, that's the thing, guys. There's always these sorts of incentives that come and go, and sometimes they're massively publicised, sometimes they sort of fall by the wayside a little bit. So make sure you keep your finger on the pulse with it. Speak to your local real estate agent. Speak to your trusted advisors when it comes to property, because I think a lot of the times people don't take advantage of these, and it can save you years on your property journey to get into a property. And also the fact that now it's about to run out as well. On the flip side, I think actually for some of the sellers out there that have sort of townhouses or apartments that are sub 1.5 million, it's not a bad time to capitalise on it as well, because you know that these buyers will be out buying.
Well, that's it. There is almost a timestamp or a date stamp on their buying journey if they're going to use this incentive. So yeah, it's not a bad idea to be trying to capture that in your marketing and take advantage of it. It's certainly a good incentive from the selling point of view as well.
Exactly. And look, afterwards, it's not like the market suddenly drops off once that disappears, but I just think the people that are eligible out there to use it before you lose it.
It's good tip. Yeah, good tip. More importantly, we've also got to talk about what else is going to be changing and coming in. So you are going to miss out on the property tax, but there is some changes to stamp duty as well. Do you want to fill us in on that?
I'll let you fire away, Billy.
Okay. So there's going to be some changes to the current brackets. So under 650,000 currently, you pay $0 stamp duty
As a first-time buyer.
as a first-time buyer. So that includes, for our local area, a lot of your one-bedrooms, a lot of your properties, maybe they even need a little bit of work, lighter one-bedrooms, but it doesn't quite break into the two-bedroom category. So that's going to be changing from 650 to 800. You'll pay $0 stamp duty. So that's
Because before that
that's a
used to
big
just be
change.
concession between 650 and 8.
Yeah, concessional rate.
So they're making it, once again, factoring in that property prices have gone up a lot over the years, and to have these, I guess, incentives in place that are outdated to what property prices are today, I think that's good that they're shifting with the times.
Yeah, for sure. And then the concessional rate is increasing from $800,000 to $1 million. So there will be a part saving there, which again, it will be helpful on a purchase. You know, it does put every dollar back into your pocket helps, I think.
Yeah, well, I think that's nice because now pretty much everyone up to that $1.5 million price point, from as cheap as it gets entry-level properties all the way up to their first-home buyers, in some way, shape or form are being looked after a bit more. And look, guys, everyone knows how hard it is to get your leg up on the property market, that saving up that deposit, being able to just make that first transaction. And so every little bit of help goes a long way.
It does. But yeah, please don't forget, guys, these incentives that are on the table, that just nothing is set in stone. So when you're getting closer to making your decision on chasing your dream and getting your first property as a first-home buyer, or any investor opportunities as well, just understand that, take advantage of what's on the table, and don't let that sort of rush you into a decision, but definitely let it keep the momentum going and maximize these things, because there's no guarantee they're going to be there forever.
Well, I'd have to say, when they brought in the no stamp duty up to $650,000, I think that was one of the biggest stimulus they ever did for first-home buyers to purchase. And then this one now followed up with the tax incentive to pay that instead of paying the upfront stamp duty up to $1.5 million. I think that's been one of the biggest changes I've seen for a first-home buyer being able to get into property as well. Like, it's a huge amount of money, and when you amortize it out, you're putting that money into a deposit and having less of a mortgage instead of into stamp duty, and just paying a fee per year, which is still less money out of your pocket.
Yeah,
it's no brainer in my opinion.
Absolutely. So to be eligible for this, there's no changes to the original sort of eligibility criteria. It's your standard sort of dot points. But to opt into this property tax, you've just got to have an exchange contract prior to 1st of July.
Yep.
So you don't need to be signed and settled. You don't need to have keys and moved in, but you do need to have pretty much a date on a contract.
Exchange, yeah.
And that can be something with a long settlement, no problem at all. The ATO just needs to see it's been exchanged and sales being agreed upon. That's it.
Brilliant, guys. So you got any questions, reach out to us. We're here. Tonight was just a real simple topic. It was just a headline. Wake up.
Sorry,
and we're back. Sorry,
I
guys.
hope we're still here.
And now we're more soon. Good. So just to give guys the heads up, take advantage of it. That's it.
That's it.
Brilliant.
Reach out if we can help a bit more. And we'd also love to know who's got the better haircut, Michael or me.
Oh, comments. Put the comments in below.
See you guys. Have a good night.